There are moments that shatter a man's certainties, and for Elias Harrington, it came in the cool shadows of a tack room when trembling fingers reached for an iron key. She had every reason to hate him. He owned the land, the horses, the people who worked his Carolina ranch in 1703. But when Amma whispered, "Wait, I'll take it off," claiming the right to remove her own collar, something cracked open in him that could never be sealed again. What began as one enslaved woman's quiet defiance became a dangerous reckoning with everything he'd inherited. Power, brutality, and a love that could only exist if he destroyed the world that made him master. In a place where kindness was weakness and freedom could mean death, they would risk land, reputation, and blood to answer one impossible question: can love survive where ownership ends? If this moment pulls you in, subscribe and tell me where you're watching from. Elias Harrington stood at the corral fence. Smoke rose from the branding fire. The morning sun burned hot on his neck. "Move them forward," he called. His men drove cattle through the chute. The iron pressed flesh. Animals bellowed. Elias watched without flinching. Samuel appeared at the gate. He was late. Elias felt anger tighten in his chest. "You're slow," Elias said. "The mare threw a shoe, sir," Samuel said. "I don't need reasons. I need the work done." Samuel's jaw clenched. He nodded once. Elias turned away. Jonas Pike walked over. The overseer smiled. His voice was low. "Want me to remind him?" Jonas asked. "Not today," Elias said. Jonas shrugged. He walked toward the workers. Elias heard the crack of a whip somewhere behind the barn. His father had taught him this. Keep the place tight. Show no weakness. The land demanded order. Elias scanned the yard. Amma crossed near the well. She carried a water bucket. Her movements were careful. She glanced toward the corrals. Her eyes found his. Something shifted in her expression. She looked away quickly. The bucket swayed in her hands. Elias felt irritation rise. He didn't know why. She had done nothing wrong. The smoke curled upward. The sun climbed higher. Elias wiped sweat from his forehead. "Finish the branding," he said. He walked to his horse. The workers moved faster when he left. He knew that. Amma was still at the well. She poured water into a trough. Her back was straight, her shoulders tight. Elias mounted his horse. He rode toward the house. The smoke followed him. The smell of burned hide clung to his clothes. He tried not to think about her eyes. He failed. The upstairs room was dark. Abigail's fever had not broken. Amma ground herbs in a small mortar. "Will she die?" Martha asked. "No," Amma said. Her voice was quiet. Martha wrung out a cloth. She placed it on Abigail's forehead. The girl whimpered. Amma's hands moved steadily. She added water to the paste. Steam rose from a bowl nearby. The door opened. Elias entered. He stopped when he saw them. "How is she?" he asked. "The fever is high," Martha said. Elias crossed to the bed. He touched his daughter's cheek. Abigail stirred. "She needs steam," Amma said, "and this tincture, every hour." Elias looked at her. Amma kept her eyes down. Masters did not like being told what to do. "Do it," he said. Amma nodded. She lifted Abigail's head. The girl drank. Elias watched closely. Hours passed. The fever broke near midnight. Abigail's breathing eased. She slept. "Thank you," Elias said. Amma felt afraid. Gratitude was dangerous. It meant he had noticed her. "Yes, sir," she said. Martha gathered the linens. Elias lingered. His eyes stayed on Amma's hands. They were scarred. He had never seen that before. "Go rest," he said finally. Amma left quickly. She walked to the wash basin. She was alone. She whispered a prayer in her own language. His eyes had truly seen her tonight. She didn't know if that meant protection or danger. Her hands shook. The dining room was full. Neighboring ranchers crowded the table. Tobacco smoke thickened the air. Laughter rattled the windows. Amma refilled cups. She moved silently. The men didn't look at her. "I heard Turner's place had an escape," one man said. "Third one this year," another added. Jonas leaned forward. His voice was eager. "Leniency breeds revolt," Jonas said. "You have to keep them afraid." The men nodded. Elias felt their eyes on him. They were measuring him. "My place is firmly held," Elias said. "Good," the first man said. "Some men go soft. That's when trouble starts." Amma flinched. A man had just told a story. A woman sold south for speaking back. The table laughed. Elias felt Amma's presence behind him. He didn't turn. He forced himself to laugh with them. "Any softness will be noticed," the neighbor warned. "We watch out for each other." "I appreciate that," Elias said. The men ate. They drank. They traded stories of discipline and control. Elias agreed when he should. He stayed silent when he could. Amma refilled his cup. Her hand was steady. Her face was blank. But Elias felt her disappointment. It weighed on him. The gathering ended. The men rode away. Elias stood on the porch. The house felt heavier than before. Jonas appeared beside him. The overseer smiled. "Good you set them straight," Jonas said. Elias didn't answer. He went inside. The smell of tobacco followed him. He thought of Amma's flinch. He thought of the men's expectations. He didn't sleep well. The yard was bright with morning sun. Samuel stood at the center. Jonas held a whip. "You took extra grain," Jonas said. "I did not," Samuel said. "Don't lie to me," Jonas said. The enslaved workers watched. Their faces were blank. Amma stood among them, her hands clenched in her apron. "Kneel," Jonas said. Samuel knelt slowly. Elias stepped onto the porch. Everyone turned to look. Amma's eyes found his. She was begging silently. Elias felt his chest tighten. Jonas waited. The whip hung loose in his hand. The silence stretched. "How many lashes?" Jonas asked. Elias hesitated. He thought of the neighbors. He thought of their warnings. He thought of order. "5," he said. His voice was flat. Amma's breath caught. Samuel's jaw clenched. Jonas smiled. The first lash fell. Samuel didn't cry out. The second cut deeper. The third drew blood. Amma turned her face away. Tears ran down her cheeks. Elias watched. He made himself watch. The fifth lash fell. Jonas stepped back. Samuel stayed on his knees. Blood soaked his shirt. "Help him up," Elias said. 2 men moved forward. They carried Samuel away. The yard emptied quickly. Elias stood alone on the porch. Something cold settled in his stomach. He heard a sound behind him. Abigail was at the window. She was crying. She had seen everything. Elias turned away. His hands were shaking. He had chosen order over mercy. The kitchen was warm. Amma worked at the table. Her hands moved automatically. Martha chopped vegetables nearby. Abigail appeared in the doorway. Her eyes were red. She walked to Amma. She pressed against her side. "Are you sad?" Abigail asked. "I'm working," Amma said softly. "You're sad," Abigail said. "I'm sad too." Martha glanced at them. She said nothing. Amma touched Abigail's hair. The girl leaned closer. "Want to help?" Amma asked. Abigail nodded. Amma showed her how to shape dough. Their hands worked together. The simple task created a small island of peace. Elias stood in the doorway. Neither of them saw him. He watched Amma teach his daughter. The tenderness between them was clear. It unsettled him. He had never thought about what Abigail might see, or feel, or learn from the people he owned. Martha turned. She saw him. She walked over. "Children see clearly," Martha said quietly. "Sometimes more clearly than adults." "What does that mean?" Elias asked. "It means the household soul is rotting," Martha said. "And your daughter knows it?" Elias felt anger rise, then shame. Martha walked away. She left him standing there. Amma laughed softly at something Abigail said. The sound was rare, beautiful, brief. Elias retreated to the hallway. He stood in the shadows. His hand pressed against the wall. His carefully controlled world was cracking. He could feel it. The cracks ran deep. He didn't know how to stop them. The storage shed was dim. Elias noticed Amma moving stiffly. She kept her hand at her throat. "Come here," he said. Amma obeyed slowly. Elias saw the iron collar. Anger flooded through him. "Who did this?" he asked. "Jonas, sir," Amma said. Her voice was barely audible. "When?" "3 days ago." Elias felt rage in his chest tighten. Jonas had not asked permission. The collar was a punishment, a mark of shame. "The tack room," Elias said. "Now." They walked in silence. The room was cool, shadowed. Elias found the key on a hook. He reached for the lock. Amma stepped back. Her eyes met his. Something shifted in her expression. "Wait," she said. "I'll take it off." Her hands shook. She lifted them to the collar. Her fingers found the lock. She turned the archway key herself. The iron fell. It clattered onto the workbench. The sound echoed. Amma's skin was raw where the metal had rubbed. Elias stared at her. She had claimed that small act. She had insisted on removing her own chains. The gesture cracked something in him. He didn't have words for it. Amma stood straight. She didn't lower her eyes. Not this time. "It won't happen again," Elias said. His voice was rough. Amma said nothing. She didn't believe him. He could see that. The collar lay between them. The front parlor was cold. Elias called the household together. His voice was formal. "Amma will work in the house," he said. "She'll attend to Abigail. No more field duty." Jonas's jaw tightened. His eyes narrowed. He said nothing. "Iron will not be used on her," Elias added. "That's final." Martha nodded. The others stood silent. Amma felt relief and dread in equal measure. Proximity meant safety from some dangers. It invited others. People would talk. Jonas would resent her. After the announcement, Martha pulled Amma aside. The older woman's voice was low. "Keep your head down," Martha said. "The closer you are, the more they watch." "I know," Amma said. "Do you?" Martha asked. "Jonas won't forget this." Amma nodded. She gathered her few possessions, a worn dress, a scrap of cloth, a wooden comb. She walked toward the main house. The attic room was small, a narrow bed, a single window. Jonas watched from the yard. His expression was cold, calculating. He smiled slowly. Amma closed the door. She set down her bundle. Her heart pounded. This change would not make her free. It would only move her cage, but it might keep her alive. For now, that was enough. Rain pattered on the roof. Amma arranged her belongings. The attic room felt strange. Too close to the family. Still not her own. Downstairs, Elias sat at his desk. The iron collar lay before him. He stared at it. His anger hadn't faded. Jonas had dared to act without him. That was the first problem. The second was deeper, harder to name. He had seen Amma's trembling hands, her raw skin, her insistence on claiming that one small choice. Something in him would not look away anymore. A soft knock interrupted. Abigail peeked in. She held a blanket. "Can I give this to Amma?" she asked. "Why?" Elias asked. "She's cold upstairs," Abigail said. "I heard her shivering last night." Elias felt something in his chest tighten. His daughter had more compassion than he did. "Go ahead," he said. Abigail ran upstairs. Elias heard her voice, heard Amma's quiet thanks, heard his daughter's laugh. He locked the collar in a drawer. He would not see it used again. That much he could promise. But what came next? He didn't know. He only knew he could not return to yesterday, to the man who watched Samuel bleed, to the rancher who never questioned. Elias extinguished his lamp. The house settled into darkness. Things would be different, he told himself. They had to be. Morning light filled the nursery. Amma dressed Abigail. She moved, carefully. Everything here was watched. "Tell me about your home," Abigail said. "There's nothing to tell," Amma said. "Was it far away?" "Very far." Elias appeared in the doorway. Both of them looked up. Amma's hand stilled. "How is she?" Elias asked. "Well, sir," Amma said. He lingered. His eyes moved to Amma. She felt afraid. "Where did you learn about herbs?" he asked. "My mother taught me," Amma said carefully. "What else did she teach you?" Amma felt trapped. Masters did not ask questions. They commanded. This felt dangerous. "Stories," Amma said. "Songs. How to survive." Abigail smiled. Elias nodded slowly. He was gathering pieces of her, learning her. "That's useful knowledge," he said. "Yes, sir," Amma said. He left finally. Amma's hands were shaking. Abigail touched her arm. "He likes you," Abigail said. "Don't say that," Amma said sharply. "Never say that." Abigail looked hurt. Amma softened. She touched the girl's cheek. "It's dangerous," Amma said gently. "Do you understand?" Abigail nodded, but she didn't really understand. "Not yet." Amma finished plaiting her hair. Her own heart was racing. His curiosity felt like a noose tightening. The main hall was quiet. Abigail and Amma sat by the hearth. They shelled peas. The girl begged for a story. Amma told a half-invented tale. She wove fragments of her past into safer images. Martha listened from the table. "What language was that?" Abigail asked. "An old one," Amma said. "Teach me a word," Abigail said. Amma hesitated. Then she whispered a word for light. Abigail repeated it badly. They both smiled. Elias stood behind the doorway. He heard the musical cadence. He saw his daughter lean against Amma's shoulder. The intimacy struck him hard. Abigail trusted this woman completely. Loved her, maybe. Amma sensed him suddenly. Her story faltered. The veil dropped over her expression. She shifted to a bland, colonial folk tale. "And then the miller's daughter married the prince," Amma said flatly. Abigail sighed. The magic was gone. Elias stepped away before they saw him. He walked to his study. He felt ashamed. He had been eavesdropping, stealing moments that weren't his, but he wanted to know her truths, the ones she carefully hid, the person beneath the obedience. That desire felt both natural and monstrous. He couldn't separate the two. His chest tightened. The yard was hot. Jonas drove the field hands harder. He shouted orders. He found fault everywhere. Samuel worked without speaking. Jonas circled him, looking for mistakes, finding them. "You're slow," Jonas said. "I'm not," Samuel said. "Don't talk back," Jonas said. Later, Samuel found Amma near the stable. His voice was low, urgent. "He's going to hurt you," Samuel said. "I've done nothing wrong," Amma said. "That doesn't matter," Samuel said. "He thinks you have influence. He'll destroy you for it." Amma's hands shook. She hid them in her apron. Samuel touched her shoulder. "Be careful," he said. Jonas watched from across the yard. His mind was already spinning stories. Amma and Samuel whispering. Plotting, maybe. Or worse. He smiled slowly. Jealousy twisted in his chest. He would find a way to break this, to remind everyone where real power lived. He walked toward the big house. His steps were confident. He would test how far Elias's protection truly went, and when it failed, he would be ready. Rain drummed on the windows. Elias worked at his desk. Abigail wandered in. She held a primer. "I hate letters," she said. You need them, Elias said. Can Amma help? Abigail asked. Elias called for her. Amma came quickly. She stood in the doorway. Elias gestured to the book. Help her practice, he said. Amma sat beside Abigail. She guided the girl's hand. Elias watched closely. Amma formed letters too perfectly, too quickly. She knew these shapes. More than she should. She slipped once. Drew a perfect A without thinking. Elias saw it. Amma felt his gaze. She tried to hide her knowledge. Too late. Abigail left to find Martha. Amma stood to follow. Elias stopped her. Where did you learn to read? He asked. I don't read, sir, Amma said. Don't lie, he said gently. Amma's breath caught. She was trapped. Literacy could mean punishment, or worse. I was near people who read, she said carefully. I watched. Elias nodded slowly. His voice was quiet, almost tentative. I could teach you properly, he said, if you wanted. Amma stared at him. The offer felt impossible, dangerous, a trap disguised as kindness. Why? She asked. Because you deserve to know, he said. Amma said nothing. She felt like she was holding fire. Thunder cracked. Lightning split the sky. The barn shook. Horses screamed in their stalls. Samuel ran into the rain. Amma heard the chaos. She ran out despite orders to stay inside. The barn door was jammed. A beam had shifted. Samuel fought to open it. Fire flickered where lightning had struck. Elias appeared. He saw Amma. She was soaked. Mud splattered, forcing the door with bleeding hands. Get back, he shouted. Samuel's trapped, she shouted back. They pulled together. The door gave. Inside, a beam had pinned Samuel. His leg was bent wrong. Elias and Amma struggled to lift it. Rain poured through gaps in the roof. The horses thrashed. They freed him finally. Samuel collapsed. Elias half carried him out. Amma followed. In the dim barn afterward, the rain slowed. Elias saw Amma's hands. They were cut, bruised. She had risked everything to save Samuel. He took her hands without thinking. He examined the damage. Her breath was ragged. His was too. You could have died, he said. So could he, she said. Elias looked at her face, mud-streaked, fierce, beautiful. He saw a person whose bravery shamed him. Not property, not a servant, a woman who saved lives. His hands still held hers. Evening came. Elias invited Amma to his study. She came reluctantly. A primer and quill waited on the desk. What is this? She asked. Sit, he said. Amma sat rigidly, her heart hammered. Elias pushed the book toward her. You want to learn, he said. I'll teach you. It's forbidden, she said. I know, he said. But you deserve to understand the marks that govern your world. Amma stared at the page. Letters swam before her eyes. Her hands shook. If anyone knew, she started. They won't, he said. He guided her hand, showed her how to form words. Their shoulders nearly touched. The candlelight flickered. Amma felt exhilaration and terror. Knowledge was power, but this bound her closer to him, to his world. Why are you doing this? She whispered. Because I should have done it before, he said. They worked in silence. Outside, footsteps paused near the door. A shadow fell across the threshold. Jonas stood in the hallway. He heard their voices. Low, intimate, late at night. His expression turned dark, calculating. He walked away silently. Inside the study, Amma wrote her name for the first time. Neither of them knew they'd been seen. The road to town was dusty. Elias rode to buy supplies. Two neighbors intercepted him. Their faces were serious. We need to talk, the first said. About what? Elias asked. Your overseer came to us, the second said. Said you're going soft, favoring one of them. Elias felt cold. He kept his face blank. That's not true, he said. Men are talking, the first said. If your place becomes known as lax, officials might look closer. I run a tight operation, Elias said. Do you? The second asked. Jonas says different. They rode away. Elias felt hunted. Their warnings burrowed under his skin. Back at the ranch, Jonas barked orders louder, harsher. Some people forget their place when shown kindness, Jonas said to no one in particular. Amma heard him. She felt the noose tightening. Samuel warned her again. Martha looked worried. Elias returned under a darkening sky. He felt judgment pressing from all sides. Outside forces, his own conscience. He couldn't protect Amma and keep his reputation. The two goals were incompatible. He would have to choose soon. That night, Elias canceled the reading lesson. He sent word through Martha. Amma received it in silence. She had expected this, known it would come. Still, it hurt. The pain surprised her. Elias avoided her, spoke to her only through others. His voice was stiff, formal, cold. Amma told herself she had been foolish. Nothing had changed. He was still the master. She was still owned. Samuel found her at the well. His voice was gentle. You see now? He asked. I see, she said. He'll always choose himself, Samuel said. Remember that. Jonas watched them. He smiled. The master had retreated. The natural order was reasserting itself. Looks like someone reconsidered his indulgences, Jonas said loudly. Amma stood at her window that night. She watched Elias cross the yard. He didn't look up. She told herself she would never mistake curiosity for safety again. She promised herself that. But the promise felt hollow. Something in her had shifted. Opened. She couldn't close it now. She pressed her forehead to the glass. Dawn was gray. Jonas moved through the storage sheds. He took mental inventory. Small items. Easy to move. Amma saw him near the crates. Something about his movements felt wrong. She said nothing. Later, Jonas cornered her in the laundry yard. His voice was low. Dangerous. Elias's attention was temporary, he said. You know that now. Amma said nothing. Jonas stepped closer. Your best protection is me, he said. Cooperate. Things will go easier. I cooperate with those who've earned it, Amma said carefully. Jonas's face darkened. She had refused him, made herself an enemy. You'll regret that, he said. He walked away. Amma's hands were shaking. She looked across the yard. Samuel was working, unaware. Jonas watched him. His mind was already spinning a trap, a story of theft, rebellion, something that would destroy Samuel and break Amma. He smiled to himself. This would restore his authority, remind everyone where power truly lived. Amma felt dread without knowing why. Midday sun blazed. Jonas called everyone to the yard. Missing goods had been found. In Samuel's corner of the stable. He's been stealing, Jonas said, planning to trade in town. That's a lie, Samuel said. His voice was hoarse. The household gathered. Elias came from the fields. He listened. Jonas was confident. Samuel was desperate. Amma stepped forward. Her voice shook. Samuel would never risk our lives, she said. I saw Jonas near those goods days ago. The crowd buzzed. Eyes turned to Elias. He stood frozen, paralyzed by fear, by judgment, by uncertainty. Jonas or Amma, overseer or enslaved woman. The choice felt impossible. He hesitated too long. Jonas took it as permission. 10 lashes, Jonas said, until this is settled. No, Amma screamed. The first lash fell. Samuel's back split open, the second cut deeper. Amma screamed again. Elias watched. He made himself watch, but he didn't stop it. Didn't choose Amma's word over Jonas's theater. By the 5th lash, Amma had stopped screaming. She stared at Elias. Her eyes were full of devastation. He had failed her, failed Samuel, failed himself. The whip fell again. Evening brought heavy silence. Samuel lay in the sick room. His back was ravaged. Amma and Martha tended him. Tears streaked Amma's face. Elias stood in the doorway. He saw the wounds, saw Amma's grief, saw his own cowardice made flesh. Amma looked up. Her voice was ice. "Your promises mean nothing," she said, "if you won't act when it costs you." Elias had no answer. Amma turned back to Samuel, dismissed him with silence. In the hallway, Martha stopped him. Her voice was fierce. "Abigail saw everything," Martha said. "What kind of man do you want her to remember?" Elias went to his study. He tore open ledgers, legal papers, account books. Half measures had only rearranged the cruelty. Small kindnesses within a violent system changed nothing. He needed manumission papers. For Amma, for Samuel, maybe for all of them. It would cost him dearly, his reputation, his wealth, maybe his life. But anything less was worthless, worse than worthless, evil. Elias felt clarity for the first time. It was agonizing. He began drafting letters to a scrivener. His hands shook. This was the only path forward. Days passed. Elias secretly met with a sympathetic scrivener. Manumission papers were being drafted, hidden beneath false invoices. Amma sensed something shifting, but she remained distant. Trust, once broken, required more than intentions. Jonas intercepted a conversation, caught a fragment. Later he rifled through the study, found enough hints to piece it together. Elias was planning to free them, free Amma, free Samuel. Jonas felt rage and terror. This was madness, betrayal. He rode out at dusk, claimed he needed supplies. Instead, he found neighboring ranchers at a tavern. "Harrington's lost his mind," Jonas said. "Freeing slaves, letting a woman lead him around. It'll spread, become a rebellion." The men listened. Fear grew. Angry murmurs filled the room. Jonas fanned the flames. "We need to restore order," Jonas said, "before it's too late." He rode back as night fell. At the ranch, Amma stood under the darkening sky. She felt something building. A storm with nothing to do with weather. Danger was coming. She could taste it. A nervous neighbor rode in near dusk. His face was pale. He found Elias in the yard. "Armed men are gathering," he said. "Jonas told them you're freeing slaves, plotting rebellion." Elias felt the floor tilt. Jonas had moved faster. The manumission papers weren't even finished. He gathered Martha, Abigail, Amma, Samuel, told them the truth, that he'd been trying to free them, that danger was coming. Amma listened in rigid silence. Anger and hope warred in her chest. He had hidden his plans, but they were real. "They're coming here?" Samuel asked. "Yes," Elias said. Amma stepped outside. She saw torches on the ridge, a line of fire descending toward the ranch. Her breath caught. This was for all of them, or for none. She turned back. Elias stood in the doorway. Their eyes met. "I won't let them hurt you," he said. "You might not have a choice," she said. The torches grew closer. Night pressed in. The armed men surrounded the yard. Torches flickered. Jonas stepped forward. His voice was triumphant. "Elias has undermined the natural order," Jonas said. "We're here to restore it." The enslaved were herded into the open. Amma stood beside Samuel. Her heart raced. Jonas pointed at her. "Kneel," he said. "Show you know your place." Amma remembered the collar, the moment she chose to remove it herself. She straightened. "No," she said clearly. "I will not." The yard went silent. Jonas's face darkened. Elias stepped between them. His voice rang out. "I have papers being drawn," Elias said. "Freeing her, freeing Samuel. Any man who harms them now breaks the law." Weapons shifted in hands. Men looked at each other. Jonas lunged forward. He's lost his mind, Jonas shouted. Elias held his ground. Amma stood behind him. The moment stretched, taut, dangerous. No one moved, no one fired. The world balanced on a knife's edge. Then Abigail screamed. She ran from the house. Martha chased her. The girl's terror broke something. Some men lowered their weapons. They wouldn't fire on a child's home. Jonas lunged at Amma. Samuel tackled him. They hit the ground. A gunshot cracked. A lantern shattered. Fire spread. Elias and ranch hands stamped out flames. Martha pulled Abigail to safety. The yard was chaos. Some armed men backed away, unnerved, uncertain. They questioned Jonas's story now. Jonas was injured, his own misstep or another's shove. No one could say. He lay on the ground, bleeding, shouting accusations. He forged evidence, Elias said. He's been stealing, lying, undermining my authority for months. Enough men believed him, or didn't care. They lowered weapons, dispersed, muttering, resentful, but not firing. Jonas was left exposed, discredited. The mob melted away into the night. Elias stood in the ruined yard. His reputation was destroyed, but he was alive. Amma trembled. Samuel leaned on her. They were both still breathing, still whole. Elias pressed a sealed packet into Amma's hands. Manumission papers. Incomplete, but legal enough. "You're free," he said, "even if you never want to see me again." Amma stared at the papers. Freedom. Real, terrifying, uncertain. She didn't know what to say. Months passed. The ranch transformed. Fewer workers, all paid, all free. Samuel managed the stables. Whole, respected. Amma walked the boundary of her land. Elias had granted it legally. The papers were worn from folding, unfolding, checking they were real. She had her own dwelling, her own terms. She had chosen to stay nearby, but not in the big house, not as property. Abigail visited every morning. They studied together, herbs, stories, letters. Their bond was free of ownership now. Elias approached Amma's door. He didn't enter. He knocked, waited. "Come in," Amma said. He stepped inside. He wasn't a master here, just a man, asking, not commanding. "Will you share supper?" he asked. "We could talk about hiring more freed workers, changing how the ranch runs." Amma looked at him. History sat heavy between them. Scars would never fully vanish. But he was choosing differently, daily, imperfectly, genuinely. She took his hand. Her choice, her will, her freedom. "Yes," she said. They walked outside together. The evening was clear, the future uncertain, but their steps aligned. Love built on truth, on freedom, on hard-won change.